There are three things that all students can minimize, declutter, or cut back on: paper usage, stationery, and student-related organization methods and apps. I could do a whole video on minimalism, but there's so many amazing content creators out there that explain it way better than me that I just decided to list my favorite ones in the description box. Minimalism for students, however, is not a hugely popular topic, although we do tend to hoard a lot of things during our academic journey. Even if you're not a fan, going digital is probably one of the biggest steps you can take to minimize the amount of notes and paper you use, read, and annotate in college. Your notes, paired with assignments, information sheets, practice tests, and other handouts, will eventually add up to hundreds of pounds per year spent on paper. Of course, that's not all people have the chance to cut back on paper. When I got to my first lecture of ancient Greek a couple of weeks ago, my teacher already had a binder with at least 200 pages of notes prepared for each student. These notes weren't provided to us digitally, so we all carry this binder with us during the entirety of the course. However, I can also say that, in my experience at least, this is usually the exception. Most teachers nowadays are willing to share the digital version of their documents online and allow you to either use a computer, tablet, or even your phone to consult those documents in class, or allow you to print the parts of the document that are relevant to the class while keeping the rest of the material stored in your computer. Even if you're not allowed or cannot afford to bring a digital device with you to class, being able to select smaller portions of the document to print or even reduce them to a portion of that size by taking your own notes on a couple of pages helps tremendously on cutting back on the amount of paper you waste. You can also stick with double-sided printing, use the digital version of newspapers or magazine subscriptions, improve your paper recycling habits, use whiteboards or blackboards to write notes instead of paper, and so on. If you're a fan of books, you can also try the ebook version, but I must say that this is the biggest problem I have in my life in terms of sustainability, because I love my printed books and I find it really hard to switch to digital, so if you're on the same train as me, I totally get that. If you consider yourself part of the studying, planning, or bullet journal community on social media, then you have probably fallen prey to the thousands of pictures of expensive stationery that you sometimes have to import overseas or find on Etsy or other expensive craft store. I have fallen prey to that, and I'm currently using only colored pens and buying no more black pens until I finish the 2 or 3 packs of Stabilo and Stapler fine liners I hoarded during the years. The thing is, too much stationery is expensive, wasteful, and does nothing for your studies. Of course, I'm not saying you shouldn't have fun with your stationery shopping, but going all out and purchasing a pack of 50 colored fine liners when you definitely always write with the same 5 colors is a waste of time and resources. Cutting back on stationery will help you minimize your usage of space, as well as the amount of unnecessary decision-making you have to make while you're taking notes or studying. Using less supplies will allow you to create simpler notes, and that will allow you to focus more on the really necessary and important concepts. Furthermore, if you just don't want to go the digital route and substitute all of your stationery for a mouse and keyboard or a digital pen, you can simply commit to using the same stationery for the entirety of a semester, which will probably be enough for you to use most of your writing supplies. You can also consider investing in better quality and reusable items like a ring-bound planner, which can last years, a sturdy backpack, or a binder instead of spiral notebooks. While some of these items can be a bit more expensive, a binder with a good cover, for instance, can last you the entirety of college. The only thing you have to care about is the refills. Another thing I fell prey to is going overboard with organization tools, be it digital or not. I'm talking about keeping several planners at once, going back and forth on 10 or more organization apps, using different note-taking methods in different devices, and so on. Although it's fun to try and experiment with different options and alternatives, it's also crucial to be able to make a commitment with some of your choices and stick with them for a longer amount of time. If you're constantly switching back and forth between different methods, you will feel overwhelmed and you won't even understand if the methods you employ actually work, since you're not testing them for a large amount of time. My rule of thumb is to stick with each method at least for 30 days, and if it's failing miserably, I'll just think of an alternative. If you're interested in the whole sustainability movement, I highly recommend a documentary called Bag It, which talks about the problem of using plastic and the effect that consuming it in high amounts has on the environment, the sea life, and even human health. If you want to watch the whole documentary, you can do so by signing up for free for CuriosityStream, who is sponsoring today's video and has thousands of documentaries in different categories and was created by the original founder of Discovery. As a special gift, you can use the promo code StudyCorner or click the link in the description box to have a free 30-day membership, which will give you more than enough time to watch Bag It, as well as many other documentaries in their list. It's also available for a ton of different devices, so you can keep learning everywhere, and after your free membership, it just costs $2.99 a month. And I think that's pretty cheap for almost unlimited learning opportunities. If you enjoyed this video, I usually make videos on motivation, productivity, and organization, and I publish a video every week. So if you are interested in that, please subscribe to the channel and click the bell button to get notified whenever a new video comes up. I hope you enjoyed this one, and I will see you next week. Bye guys!